Hi, I'm Lou. I'm a recovering lawyer. Part of my 12-step process was to buy this building with my wife. And one of the first things that we had to do was replace the roof. There were 3 up there. We couldn't figure out which one was keeping out the water because they were in such pitiful condition. And isn't it the city of Buffalo that only wants you to have 2? Anyway, among fire issues was several hundred cigarette butts which we found in the cavities behind the marble panels that formed the shower. I'm not quite sure why they would be smoking in the shower, but they were. Anyway, the second thing we did was to actually wash the building and, with a low-pressure wash, and that's my son. Because look, we just wanted to make a statement to the neighborhood that something good was going to happen. Part of that involved us engaging SHPO. And we had a visit from a woman there who, when I said, well, let's take a walk around here, Liz, she coldly told me, no, it's Elizabeth. For those of you who have dealt with her, you'll understand. I wanted to show her the fact that we had all these bricks which had formed driveways under the original building. And she said, well, it's not eligible for credits because, well, it's outside the perimeter of the building. But since we thought it was something that was very important to set the stage for this building, we went ahead and recreated the original front drive using those bricks and created a new drive that goes to the garage which we constructed on the back of the building. The evil that preceded followed in a conversation regarding the tower, because something we also had to do very quickly to secure the building was to seal up the tower. And as we walked to the back of the tower, she looked up. The reason we had to seal it up, this is a picture of guano mining. We had somewhere between 6 and 8 inches of pigeon poop sitting at the base of the tower, which required an environmental cleanup team to come in and get rid of. But she looked up at the tower and said, are those true divided light windows? And I said, well, if you have to ask, I guess they look pretty good, don't they? And she goes, well, if they're not, that's just wrong. And I said, well, look, they're 65 feet up in the air, and if I've got to rent an 80-foot lift to paint them every 6 or 7 years, we're doing something that's going to have long-term sustainability. And once we put the new storm windows, which are 1/1s, over the true divided lights, they're all going to look the same anyway. So anyway, we walked away from SHPO. This is the locker room. The firemen had 14 lockers in a room at the back of the building. And one of the issues was we wanted to reuse them in some way. And we came from a home in North Buffalo which had 2 walk-in closets for the master bedroom. And we decided that since we were both entering some stage of retirement, that we were just going to reutilize the lockers and reconfigure them so that they would be our closets. Creative Storage came in and did a wonderful job for us. My wife and my daughter stripped these and restained them so that I took back the old original yellow pine. This was the bunk room. This was a 13 by 40 or 23 by 45 foot space, and this is how it was left for us. And one of the things we decided to do was insulate the second floor, so we studded it out completely and put in closed cell phones, and we also were able to do wiring. But we also created new jams built for the walls, new sills, and this is now the view from the kitchen. This is a photo that was in Buffalo Magazine a couple of months ago. They did a piece on unusual homes. One of the next things that we wanted to do, and this is a photo from the early spring this year, and one of the issues that's always come up with this building is what's the architectural style. And some people would say, oh, it's Italianate. People that are a little more knowledgeable would say Italian Revival. But we ran across some interesting information from the Buffalo Fire History Museum, which indicated that this building was one of 3 designed by the same architect, and they classified all of them as either arts and crafts or craftsmen. And one of the indicators in my mind were the doors that were located, the original firehouse doors. And you can only see part of it here, but there are mullions set at about 4 inches from the edges. Oh, and an interesting piece of lore about the building is that Mr. Pierce from the Pierce Aero Company was so happy that the city of Buffalo placed the firehouse right across from his brand new factory that he had his hydraulic engineers design a piston system that would use the water system of the city to open and close the doors. This is a picture of the crew from 1913. You can just get a hint of the original windows on the door. And this is courtesy of the Buffalo Fire History Museum that helped us through with a lot of this. And they also obtained a copy of the blueprint for us. But in any case, in order to sort of define the architecture of the building, we decided to rebuild the doors. They open inward. They're each 5.5 by 11 feet tall. Each one weighs about 425 pounds. But we took them a step toward the future by insulating them and using, we had some custom-made thermopane windows for it. This is how we look now with a little bit of landscaping. This is also a picture from Mike Majeski from the Buffalo News. And Brian Brady, who was in the audience tonight, was our architect on this project, and I thank him greatly for that.